It's Hyderabad playing Rajasthan, and geez, you really want Hyderabad's run to end. You can't see such a good team, such a good support staff, such a good captain to end up with 8 losses out of 9. That's just, it's inexplicable, Michael, isn't it?
Yeah, they've just they've not found any kind of rhythm. They've lost a few tight games, but they've also played poorly for the most part. They've just not been able to get the best players playing. David Vaughan has just not arrived. I wonder whether they'll make that change. Jason Roy, is it worth throwing Jason into the mix just to have a go at the top of the order? Something needs to. I think when you get to this stage, I don't mind change. I'm very keen on consistency and selection. When you're playing 2 or 3 games, but when it's gone so badly for so long, I think you have to ruffle a few feathers, and potentially that might be the change that's worth looking at. It's hard from here. They've just got to be the spoilers. They can't qualify, so they've just got to try and spoil the party for the others and get a little bit of joy from spoiling Rajasthan's party tomorrow, ruining their chances of potentially getting to the eliminations, and do that throughout the rest of the tournament. That's the kind of mindset they have to take into every game.
I have to tell you that on our WhatsApp group yesterday, Deepu, Stat Cat, so I like to call him, said that there is still some mathematical chance of Hyderabad making it to the playoffs. What I want to say to Deepu is that there is a fine line between optimism and delusion, and you should be careful not to fall on the other side of it, right?
No, look, there's a mathematical chance of me playing in the 2023 Cricket World Cup for India. It's not 0, right? Okay, it's not 0. But to say that I have a chance, maybe calling it a bit.
What's the mathematical chance of Harshal Patel playing this World Cup? Is what Michael wants to know. That's the one that he wants to know. Oh, tricky one. Let's just ask you the Hyderabad question, Joy. Do you see any changes in the Indian personnel tomorrow?
I definitely see changes in the Indian personnel tomorrow. Not for anything else, but they have to shake up the system. And whether they give Abhishek Sharma a chance, and really Sandeep Sharma has not really worked for them. To be honest with you, Bhuvi has also not played the way top level India seamer can play. I think there should be a lot of changes out there, because look, right now you want to give people an opportunity to come before an auction, show yourself, and play fearlessly, play without any baggage whatsoever. And as Michael said, they're not playing to qualify, they're playing to be spoilers, they're playing for pride. I would give players an opportunity and chance to show themselves at this point in time. It's churlish not to.
Yeah, with their batting lineup, there has to be some shake-up. You don't get 125. Michael, there's got to be a shake-up then, right? You've got to shake your batsmen up. You can't play with the same batting lineup.
No, absolutely. They need to shake it up and try and ruffle a feather or two. Well, I honestly believe in an IPL tournament, there's never a dead game, and there's never dead games because players are playing for their contracts, they're playing for the auction. There's only going to be a small few retained from the Sunrisers.
They're playing for international
so it's a great opportunity for players to go out.
Country recognition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's correct. It's why it's such a strong tournament, is that it's so profiled, and even when your team can't qualify, if you go and get 100 or a 5 or have a great all-round game, you know that your stock's in worth. And when those paddles start getting raised in a month or two's time, whenever the auction is, you may as well get some runs now or wickets now, because that paddle will continue to get raised if you're doing well, no matter what your team situation is. Even if you're at the bottom of the league, if you're doing well, the paddles go up. So you might as well get out there and perform as you try and collectively play as a team, but deep down, these individuals will be thinking, I better get a performance or two together before that auction.
Well, Manish Pandey and Kedar Jadhav at 4 and 5, they must be looking over their shoulders.
I can't see Kedar Jadhav playing. Manish still, there might be an opportunity. He's a gun fielder, maybe. Kedar cannot be playing the next game. And if Vijay Shankar is fit, they'll definitely give him an opportunity. I think Abhishek Sharma deserves an opportunity. That top order has to be turned around, and the Indian fast bowling also has to be turned around. I don't know how long. They've obviously, Natarajan's not coming back because he's been replaced by Umran Malik, because obviously it's long term. But they have to try a few other bowlers as well.
Well, let's have a look at the Rajasthan team. and see if they would be making any changes. Do you see any changes happening there? If the niggles of Evan Lewis and Chris Morris are okay because they didn't play the last game, and Sangakkara did say on the broadcast that it was because they were niggly. But if the niggles are gone, then they obviously walk back into the team, Michael.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, again, Rajasthan, I'm never quite sure, what the combinations are going to be. I'm a bit perplexed of how they're going about the business, but they seem to be more engaged with this Moneyball system than any of the other franchise. I heard at Lord's yesterday when I was playing that there was a couple from Rajasthan Royals and they were saying, Moneyball, and they were talking about data and stats. I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. But, Moneyball, when you won it the first time, which was about, how many years ago with Shane Warne? When they wrote a book about it and how Moneyball worked. Well, it hasn't worked since.
And they have by the way, just to say, Moneyball, I don't think there's any page in the Moneyball book that says you have the most expensive player in the auction in your setup. Which is
and B is that, and B is that, look, they are spending as much as the other team. In the first 5-6 years, Punjab traditionally and Rajasthan traditionally used to spend 10-15% less than the other team. They wouldn't exhaust their purse. Now with the kind of money that the television contract gives you, every one of them is spending just as much money. Where does Moneyball come into it? So that's one. Two is that if they were talking about Moneyball, I would just, one of the players I'd look at is Riyan Parag, and I know he's a great kid, great potential, but they've given him chance after chance. Some point in time, he has to perform. They've been giving him too many opportunities. There's Shivam Dubey sitting out there who's an India player, whatever it is. And right now, somebody else needs to give them some runs in that middle order. I think Mahipal Lomrod getting going is good for them. But Riyan Parag is at this point in time giving them nothing. As far as the international players are going, I think the only player who's giving them real value for money consistently this season is Nusrat, who's looked absolutely fantastic. Everyone else is they've had good days and bad days. I would bring Evan Lewis back, but I'm a huge fan of Liam Livingston as well. I believe, if it's a choice between Miller and Livingston, I'd go with Livingston. And I think he has it in him to really energize the top order.
Well,
yeah, he's a good player. I think with someone like Liam Livingston, we've seen it with England that, once he's had one or two really good innings, you can see his confidence just went through the roof. And I think he's just waiting for that moment in the IPL that if he has one innings, I think he will. He's got the swagger. He's got the confidence. He probably needs that first proper innings in the IPL. And I think you'll probably see him become very consistent.
But if Evan Lewis comes in tomorrow, Livingston obviously does keep his place. But if Evan Lewis comes in, he opens. Do you open with him and then push Livingston down to 4? Because that's what will happen.
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, Livingston at the top's dangerous. Livingston at 3 is dangerous. At 4, again, it's not with the Rajasthan Royals team. It's not necessarily their batting order that always it's just they seem to tinker with a lot of things, everything. They're not consistent enough in terms of creating combination. I believe in all cricket you need combinations with the ball, with the bat. You get partnerships and you get people that you like to bat together with. And I don't see that with Rajasthan. I don't see that many combinations that you become quite particular with. That you go, there you go. Those two are out in the middle. They should be fine.